All right, everybody, welcome back to Film Tangents. This is this week in Film Tangents. Something I wanted to bring up to you, Jake, as movies have been coming out, right? And in theaters right now, we have Backrooms, which, if you've read the title of this episode, is a movie that we're going to talk about today. And obviously, there's also that movie Obsession. So there's those have been the big titans, right? Somehow June has been like a horror fest, and it feels very strange because I'm used to
Yeah.
horror movies only being like around either at the very beginning of the year, like like January to March, or like sometime in like September, August or October, November, But somehow it's summer and we have horror movies, and sandwiched
Yeah,
between these
making like
movies,
100 million
yeah,
too
making a bunch of
on
money.
tiny little budgets.
Yeah, and somehow
Crazy.
sandwiched between them, it's also a Star Wars movie that you went to see. What is it? The Mandalorian and Grogu, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, let me look up that movie. The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Mandalorian and Goku
The box office. I'm trying to see how much money it's made so far. It has made
did well, I think.
250 million worldwide, and domestically it was 140.
Think about that though. I mean, think about the fact that the Backrooms and Obsession are both like only slightly below that.
Let me
A
see.
Star Wars
Let me see.
movie.
Obsession. I'm gonna look up the box office. So Obsession has made so far 166 million.
Oh, so it's higher.
Damn. Well,
Whoa.
domestically it's higher, 166. But worldwide, Mandalorian has made 250. But
Okay.
here's the kicker, right? Because Obsession has roughly a production budget of between 750K to 1 million.
Mhm.
Dude, isn't
Yeah.
that insane? To make
I
a
knew it
movie
was
for
under
less than
$1
$1 million that made 160 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I knew it was under 1 million, and you wonder why more movies are not under 1 million.
Right.
Because it's like, I know with big, like a movie like The Drama, for instance, you could, but not with those actors.
Not with those actors.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
And for comparison's sake, that movie
Yeah.
made 130. So Obsession and Backrooms have already surpassed that. And that movie cost 48 million.
What, wait, what cost
Oh no,
48
28
million?
million. 28 million. The drama cost 28 million.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And nowhere in
Okay.
the budget is
20
is there 28 million, except for the fact that those actors got a bunch of money for making that movie.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. 28
million.
million. I
Yeah.
mean, that's ridiculous.
Yes. But it made
You
money.
could make that,
You know?
yeah. You could make that movie for under $1 million.
Yes, you can. You just have to cast not those actors,
Yeah. I'm interested with Obsession to see what you can do with under $1 million,
Yeah, right? Because the movie's
yeah.
raking in money, and it's like it was made by, it was like, I mean, for comparison to all these other movies, it's a shoestring budget, and then Backrooms cost 10 times that. It cost 10 million.
Yeah.
And right now, in terms of like its profit, it's at 135. So Backrooms cost 10 million, it's at 135. Obsession cost $1 million, just to round it up, and it's at 160. And the Mandalorian and Grogu cost 165, and it is at 250, but at 140 domestically. So domestically, it hasn't even broken even. And it says the production budget estimated is at 165. The film is struggling to reach theatrical profitability and has experienced severe weekend-to-weekend drop-offs. Because I feel like the Mandalorian and Grogu peaked. Like whoever went to see it the first week, that's it. Nobody's going out to see that movie before going out to see Obsession and Backrooms.
That's awesome.
They're taking its money, dude. They're like punching it, like taking its money.
That is so satisfying.
Yeah.
It's like a complete reverse situation of when you and I wanted to go see The Northman a week after it had come out, but it was like, oh, the closest theater is 90 minutes away that you can go see it, and like the theater closest to us, all they were showing was Doctor Strange.
Yes,
it was like, Disney, you guys can fuck off, man. But this feels like a punch back. Finally.
Yeah, for sure.
I love to see it. You know, it's like, dude, let's get back to how movies were. Like this whole Disney Marvel thing. It's been like it's almost been this weird dark age of tyranny, dude.
It has,
it's like borderline tyrannical.
Yeah,
you know. I know I sound dramatic, but like in terms of movie going, it feels like tyranny at a certain point where you're just like, dude, I want to go see this original film, The Northman, for instance, but I can't because, like, you know, people are going out. Disney is just shoving Doctor Strange up everyone's ass, and it's a movie that sucks. And it's like the 50th fucking superhero movie with special effects everywhere, and every scene is in front of a blue screen. Like, just stop it, man.
Well, it's fascinating fascinating how things have opened up, right? Because the slates for these like big budget movies is now more kind of few and far between, right? Where it's like, I think later, like in a month or maybe this month, we're gonna have Spider-Man, and then I know like later around the end of the year, it's the new Avengers and the new like Dune, and obviously now the Mandalorian just came out. So, and as far as I can tell, like I'm not super on top of like the release dates for these big movies, but as far as I can tell, that's kind of it, you know. So it's fascinating how, because these movies have been kind of pushed out of the mainstream because folks are just not interested in going out to see them, it has now created a space for new and original movies again. And for people to just be pitched like interesting ideas, and for them to just go like, oh, let's go see it, you know. Like, this is new.
Exactly.
This is not Iron Man 20, you know, the return of Darth Vader. You know, like this is something I've never seen before, you know, and it seems interesting. Other people are checking it out. Let's go check it out, you know. And it's fascinating how it's like, oh, once again, it's like we're back in the 2000s. Like, oh, again, these are the movies that are making money and are profitable. Because that was the profitability industry of it before, right? In the 80s and the 90s. It's like these guys making movies, and the movies always cost way less than it would have taken for them to break even, and they always broke even, and then they got to make more movies. You know, it's like we're kind of getting back to that. It's like, oh, $1 million movie, $10 million movie. As long as we're able to just somehow market that well to audiences, they'll go out and it'll at least make like 20 or 30. And at that point, it may broke even, and we can just keep doing this, you know. But it's like making The Mandalorian, and it's like it probably is like a 200 million budget, you know, and that's what we know about budgets. Like, it has to make like twice as much, if not like almost 3 times as much to actually break even. And it's like at 250 on a $200 like million budget, it's like it's probably not happening. And it's clear, it's like it's a clear cut like message to Hollywood, like, right, we have The Mandalorian in theaters and it's struggling to even make money. Meanwhile, these 2 shoestring budget movies are making hundreds of millions of dollars. It's like the evidence is in the pudding. It's right there, you know.
It's amazing how time just moves on no matter what, and the pendulum always swings back. The tables always turn. Because 10 years ago, I mean, if there was a new Star Wars movie in theater, it was like, fuck whatever else is in theaters. You know, this was the consensus of general audiences. Fuck whatever else is in theaters. Fuck your horror movie. You know what? Backrooms? What is that? What? Obsession? I don't give a shit. Star Wars is in theater, you know? The market, it just always swings back, dude. People get tired of shit. And now it's the opposite. I have talked to nobody who has seen The Mandalorian who cares to see it. At work today, I'm talking to someone about the Backrooms.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, for sure. I was talking to one of my coworkers too.
yeah. I go to visit Greenville. Like, people there, you know, we're talking. They're talking about the movie Obsession. Did you see Obsession? Oh my god, it's crazy. I almost had a heart attack watching that. You know, it's funny though. It's funny how short-sighted companies are. I don't know if they're short-sighted, but it's like, you know, they get on this roll where it's like, nope, you know, I mean, all people want to go see right now are superhero movies and proven IPs, and that's what they want to see. And it's like, yeah, but you don't think by the time we get to Iron Man 20, they're not gonna be sick of it? Yeah, it's like, you know, there's a limit to this, right? And they know that, I'm sure. They're probably just waiting to find that limit. You know? But yeah, I mean, I bet whoever, I'm sure whenever they, wrapped on Mandalorian, they were like, "Fuck, dude." They saw what the general consensus is on Star Wars right now, and they were like, "Dude, what did we just wasted so much time, but we gotta finish this now."
Yeah, we have to. Yeah. It's interesting because I just Googled it to see like the big movie releases for 2026, and it gave me all the way up until the end of July. So this is what's coming, okay? The Mandalorian got annihilated by two juggernauts of horror that nobody saw coming, seemingly. But tomorrow releases a movie called Masters of the Universe.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and this apparently has a $200 million budget.
I wonder how that one's gonna do. I don't know if that's gonna do that.
I don't know why they put so much money on that, dude. If the Mandalorian, which is like a Star Wars like IP that has a TV show attached to it, and has those just like Yoda like losers like wanting to go see like Baby Yoda, right? It's like if that it's like part of it. What does Masters of the Universe have going on?
Yeah, because I think what adds credibility to your point here is it's not even just the fact that it's not that Masters of the Universe doesn't have as big of a fan base as Star Wars, which it does not, but that's not what we're talking about for anyone who's listening to this and is confused. What we're saying is a movie like The Mandalorian, audiences know by now when they watch these trailers that it is of the same ilk. It is cut from the same cloth as these Marvel movies and these Disney Star Wars movies. You watch that trailer and it is that.
Yeah.
It is that. Everything's green screened. Everything like the green screen has got to stop, dude. They have got to put like a tax on green screens and blue screens. That is making every movie.
That's the way to fix the film industry. So.
Yeah, it's making every movie look like the goddamn Polar Express.
Yeah.
I realized it. There was like a point 1 or 2 years ago where I'm watching like I think the commercial for the Wonka movie came out. And then it was like Wicked also. Yeah. And I'm like...
They all look the same.
Yeah, and I'm like, why do these all look the same? And I couldn't put my finger on it. And then I just thought, Polar Express. They all look like Polar Express. They all look like Polar Express with the fucking fake-ass backgrounds, the little colorful shit in the background, the lights, the people dancing around in perfect rows.
Yeah.
It all looks like the goddamn Polar Express.
Yeah, they haven't figured it out.
Fucking blue screens, dude. It's the green screens. And then when I watch the He-Man trailer, I'm like, oh my god. Like Skeletor looks like a piece of shit. I'm just like, dude, what? Can we try something different? Like the reason all of those Peter Jackson movies, for instance, of the 2000s, Lord of the Rings, King Kong, those looked so great because they built sets. They put in work. They, that was like a model jungle that they built,
right? Because I think that the element that a lot of these movies are missing, that I think you're getting to, and that obviously Obsession probably has because it has such a low budget, and obviously Backrooms had because they actually built sets, is this tactile feeling, right? It's like when you watch these movies, like you said, any of those movies, right? I remember when Spider-Man came out, like the one where he like traverses universes and the other Spider-Man guy. Sorry, I forget the name of it.
Spider-Verse?
Yeah, or like the Wicked movie. That they all have this like weird softness to the backgrounds that just feels like nothing's there, and whoever's performing in the foreground just feels completely detached from it. Almost like they're standing in front of a flat, green or blue screen. So there's like an element to that is like very. I think it's like working in the subconscious, like that these things are not like connecting with audiences. So it's interesting. But that Masters of the movie is coming out, and June 12th, a movie that we saw the trailer for in theaters, the Steven Spielberg movie Disclosure Day is coming out. I wonder how that's going to do. I was really interested in that movie when I first saw the teaser, and then when we saw the trailer in theaters, I was like, this looks like schlock.
It looks awful.
It looked awful. Oh man.
It looks so boring. It looks like a J.J. Abrams
It
film.
does look like a JJ. It's like somehow, because it's interesting because when J.J. Abrams started, he was aping Spielberg, right? It was like the most blatant, like aping his cinematography, aping his sense of feel and tone and pacing and directing, right? And it was almost like a caricature of Spielberg that JJ was doing. And somehow Spielberg has lived long enough to making movies that feel like JJ.
Exactly. It's like how Travis Scott was influenced by Kid Cudi, and then started making like trap Cudi sounding stuff, and then Kid Cudi started making that things music that sounded like Travis Scott.
Yeah. It's like, so weird.
It was like, oh god, yeah. It's funny. It's like they just start imitating their imitators. Yeah, that looks like it's like that. When I saw that trailer when we went to see Backrooms, the Disclosure Day, I watched that trailer and I just said to myself, this looks like the most vanilla science fiction schlock, aliens and a flying saucer coming down. I mean, who has any interest in that? We've seen that movie before. And you know what I want to see? Oh, go ahead.
No, you finish your sentence.
You know what I want to see in alien invasions? I want to see a post-apocalyptic alien invasion movie where the aliens completed their invasion, have conquered Earth, and then humans are eking out an existence and trying to, maybe take Earth back or some semblance of Earth back, or take the fight back to the aliens, like something like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I've had an idea for that since I was, 11, 12 years old, something like that. It kind of fell out of my mind for a while. I don't really think about it much anymore, but I always thought that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, what's up with this freaking Independence Day, bullshit? Just enough. We've seen it.
We'll see if it actually makes any money, because obviously it's like very much like in the front of people's consciousness, because every other day I feel like I see in the news that they're like, oh, aliens are real, and they're like under the water, or like, they're like releasing documents regarding like alien or like UFOs, and like, more of this like weird government cover up stuff that they're doing to try to kind of be like, oh, actually this is a thing, to see if people think about that instead. But it's a good time, I guess, for Spielberg in that sense, because he made this movie, and right now this alien stuff is like in the public consciousness. Although somehow it feels to me like it will turn out that the movie will not make any money anyway. Like somehow there's all this stuff about aliens in the news, and somehow it almost feels to me like people are probably tired of it. And I feel like in a lot of people's heads, the question is like, well, either do we have them or not, and not necessarily like thinking to themselves like, oh man, the fact that there's so much alien stuff in the public's conscious makes me want to go see this Spielberg movie. Because when I saw that trailer, I had no inclination. There was no inch of me there was no part of my body in which I was like, I should see that Spielberg movie. None.
Yeah, it just looked boring. No. Same here. It looked boring.
It looked like a weird CG, like Disney thing too. Like, with the fucking deer and shit.
Yeah, it lacks anything that any of the stuff that made Spielberg movies great. It seems to, anyway.
Like, you know what it made me think of? It made me think of that movie that he made, AI, Artificial Intelligence. And it's interesting because AI, I think it came out like in 2001. Yes, it came out in 2001. And AI, I think originally was like a Kubrick project that then after Kubrick passed, Spielberg like inherited, or Spielberg started making it while Kubrick was still alive or something. I forget what the whole idea is. And Kubrick was like mentoring him through it. I don't know what the whole thing with the AI movie that Spielberg made was, but that movie is it's kind of like a for Spielberg, who was like working at the peak of his powers, right? Like for like 90s to 2000 Spielberg, it's kind of like a whatever movie. It's like super whatever. And there's people who just like swear by that movie. But dude, I watched that movie super boring. Like just super like boring, like pseudo intellectual like BS.
Really?
Yes, like super boring.
Doesn't it have the kid from Sixth Sense?
Yes, it does. It was when that kid was like popping. Um, but it's weird because I can see how that movie was supposed to be a Kubrick movie, but somehow Spielberg made it, and he made it into a Spielberg movie, which is basically like if you have artificial intelligence stuff, and then it's also at the same time like Jurassic Park, with all this like whimsy and wonder, and it's like, ugh. And it's like, no, this sucks. This is terrible, And somehow watching Disclosure Day, it was that again in my mind. It was like, oh, it's this again, where you are again kind of playing with this like, science fiction and like very specific like elements, right, of stuff that I would love to see somebody like you not do. This is the kind of stuff that like Kubrick should do, or the kind of stuff that like Denis Villeneuve should do, like guys that are willing to treat the subject with a lot more like reverence and respect and with more seriousness. But no, it's like you're gonna be goofy about it, and you're gonna be hokey, and you're gonna try to make it into some like weird family thing. Where at the end of the movie, people go like, "Oh man, it's nice to have my family," You're gonna make it into one of those, and it already sucks because that's what AI was. AI was exactly that. It was just this BS. Where at the end of the movie, it's supposed to make you feel like, oh, the wonders of the world, So
yeah. I rewatched Jurassic Park a few years ago. Well, we watched it for the podcast commentary, but we were doing commentary, so I don't really count that. But specifically, when I watched it a couple years prior to that, and I watched Jurassic Park, and I'm like, it was a rewatch. Obviously, I'd seen it as a kid and maybe once as a teenager, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, this is fucking great. Yeah. And it has almost nothing to do with the dinosaurs themselves. It's not about that. You watch the movie and, like there's the scene, welcome to Jurassic Park, and then they look and the freaking long neck dinosaur, the Brachiosaurus, is up on its hind legs or it's stomping around or something. And, they're in the meadow and they see all these dinosaurs for the first time. That's okay. That's whatever. The reason that's a good moment, is not just because of the dinosaurs, but because of the emotion of the character, where you see this guy, Alan Grant, I think was his name, played by Sam Neill.
Yeah.
And he's been obsessed with dinosaurs his entire life. He's a paleontologist. Dinosaurs are his life. And for the first time, this man is seeing dinosaurs for real, something he thought he would never in a million years, no pun intended, see. So even in that sense, it's like it's still not really about the dinosaurs. It's about that character moment. And there's just so many great Hitchcockian elements of that movie where, like the kids are they're stuck in the car and it's pouring down rain and it's dark and the kid has the night vision binoculars and he sees the goat. A few minutes later, he looks and the goat's gone and the chain is swinging, indicating that the T-Rex has been by and got it. Just little moments like that. That's what makes that movie great, but these new Jurassic World movies, for instance, they're like dinosaurs.
They're all about spectacle. Yeah, not about character.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, I don't give a shit how big or cool or well-designed CGI dinosaur you can get. You can pay 1 million animators to work 1 million hours on the best CGI dinosaur that's ever been created and put it on screen, and I won't give a shit.
Right.
And I love dinosaurs.
Because these are just movies made by executives, like, and producers. Like, that's what happens. Like, when you like relinquish like creative control to folks that are just that their whole purpose is just marketing and money, then everything kind of falls. Everything just becomes shambles. Exactly. Which is interesting because Tom Holland has been talking about that in regards to Spider-Man, because apparently, he wanted to he was filming the Nolan movie. Nolan's making the Odyssey. And he was filming Nolan's The Odyssey before he was like filming Spider-Man Brand New Day. And seemingly while filming The Odyssey, he like called the producers of the Spider-Man movie and he was like, hey, I'm not coming to set unless you guys give me like a finished script. And like there's been this whole kind of discourse about it, because apparently he was saying like, apparently his whole issue was like, hey, I don't want to turn up to just make a Spider-Man movie and we're just going to figure it out on set kind of thing. Because like I want to turn up and know exactly like that we have a vision for this character and we have a vision for this film. And and basically he forced everybody, like the director and the producers and everybody, to just kind of be like, I guess we have to make a movie here, you know, because this guy's saying that he's not going to come film unless we like actually have a movie and like finished script and like a plan, you know. Which is fascinating. Not to advocate for that, because there's all sorts of filmmaking, but I think that in terms of like a Spider-Man movie, it feels like they should have that approach, right? This kind of holistic approach. Which I'm going to read you the big release dates for the next few months, right? All the way until the end of July, and you tell me which of these movies you are going to see. And which of these movies at least kind of like you go like, oh, maybe, you know. All right, let's do a little exercise.
Okay.
So you already saw Star Wars, so you already saw that one. You can't backtrack on that one.
Yeah, it would have been a no, but I was roped into it. Yeah. No, just went with family.
Masters of the Universe.
No.
Okay.
That's a no for you as well.
Yeah, it's a no for you as well. Disclosure Day.
No. It's a resounding yes for you.
No, it's a no for me. But there's a part of me that feels that if the movie comes out and people are being like, "This is the greatest movie ever," that I'll be like, "Yes, I'm gonna go see it." You know, like there's that element. Yeah. There's that thing with Spielberg that I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, despite the fact that he hasn't made a really good movie in probably like 20 years. You know.
Yeah. I'm still, like, I don't know if he has that in him anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he has it in him.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you know.
I mean, I will say. Spielberg, I mean, he is responsible for some, I mean, hot take here. He's responsible for some pretty incredible movies. And I think, I mean, Minority Report. I think that's an unsung gem of Spielberg. I love Minority Day.
Minority Report.
I was blown. Yeah, I was blown away when I saw Minority Day.
Why do you keep saying like, Minority Day, dude?
Wait. Oh, Minority Report. Fuck. Minority Day.
Listen back to this. When this episode comes out, listen back to this 26 minutes in. You say Minority Day and I say Minority Report. And then you say it again and then I say it again. And then you say it again.
I didn't hear you say report. Fucking, it's so funny because while I was saying it, I was like, it's like Disclosure Day.
Yeah. Minority Day.
What I think that your mind does.
Yeah.
No. Minority Report.
Yeah, that is a great movie.
Yeah, I remember watching that and just being like, I can't fucking believe this isn't as talked about as, you know, a Jurassic Park or, you know, it's fucking great.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Spielberg, that he is like such a great filmmaker and he's made so many movies that a lot of his movies that are legitimately great movies just kind of fall by the wayside. You know,
right?
Because he made Schindler's List, or he made Jurassic Park, or he made, you know, Catch Me If You Can, or he made whatever else, right? Saving Private Ryan, you know. So it's like because he made this kind of like Titanic, you know, movies, everybody thinks of us like, oh, these are the greatest movies, you know. Like we forget about shit like that. Minority Report, you know, or even his War of the Worlds, you know, his second or third, I forget which one. Tom Cruise movie, you know. I want to rewatch that movie because I always I loved that movie when I was a kid, and I always felt like, despite the movie's shortcomings, I always felt like the things that it did great were really great.
Interesting.
You know, you know, despite the fact that Ice Cube is in it and everything, you know, the Tom Cruise parts of War of the Worlds are good, not the Ice Cube parts.
Wait, isn't that a different movie?
Yeah, dude, but they happen at the same time. They just
So Ice Cube. Oh, so you're saying the Ice Cube one was an interquel?
Yeah.
They then cut to what Ice Cube was doing at that same time, and if you watch the movies side by side, dude, it's a non.
This is a pitch to like whoever out there just enjoys editing and like splashing things for the fuck of it. Edit all of the Minority Report movie with Ice Cube into the Minority Report movie that Spielberg made. Just composite them into one big, like 4-hour thing. Just do that.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That'd be great.
I'm down for that.
I'm down for that too.
We'll film flame it.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Next one. June 19th, Toy Story 5.
No.
Okay. No, I'm not interested either. I haven't seen Toy Story 4. I saw 1, 2, and 3, and then I called it a day on that one.
Yeah. I will say I saw the I think I saw the trailer when I went to see Mandalorian, and the concept looks interesting. I don't know what you know about the concept of it.
Mm-mm.
It's basically tackling the whole screen addiction.
Oh, really? The
epidemic.
kids are not playing with toys, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, I was like, that's a good idea. Very logical place to go with it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That actually like piques my interest. That sounds interesting.
And the villain is like a screen thing.
Huh.
It's like a toy with. It's like a Game Boy type thing.
Yeah.
But it has a face and shit. It kind of looks interesting.
That's interesting.
I'll probably I'll watch it at some point.
I'll watch it when it's on Disney Plus. It's interesting that they're taking that approach with it. That actually does sound interesting, like enough to like warrant like watching it and see what their take on that is and the stuff they're saying. It's interesting that they're taking that approach now. I guess it is like more of like a thing now, but I feel like our generation grew up with that anyway. Like I feel like we grew up playing like PlayStation or Xbox and stuff like that, and not really with like toys.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess when I probably stopped playing with toys when I was like
15,
like 17. Yeah, that's making the same joke.
I beat you to it. Yeah.
You beat me to it. I was like 25, maybe.
Yeah.
It's so funny when it just saying an age becomes fucking hilarious. I did that to my friend. I have a friend who's like he's like 10 years older than me. He's in his like mid 30s, and we were with a couple of his other friends, and he was like, "Wait, when did I meet you?" And I was like, "I think when I was like 15, maybe." But and then Chris Hansen popped up from behind the plant next to the table we were eating at. No, but yeah, but I feel like playing, even honestly, nowadays, I feel like what we did as kids was way healthier, whether it was just playing PlayStation or just watching television. It's like that's way fucking healthier than just having this screen in your goddamn hand
your face,
just staring at all fucking day.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, when we saw Backrooms, there was someone in the row in front of us just scrolling on their
phone. I noticed that. Every now and then they would look at their phone and be like, what are they looking at? That's so interesting.
Yeah, I was curious too.
Yeah,
it like, depresses you.
Yeah.
It depresses you. It's like it kind of takes away from the communal aspect of like, oh, we're all here watching this.
It's like, oh no, there's a guy that would rather be on his phone than not for an hour and a half.
I'm at the point, and I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but I'm at the point now where I want to say to people like, dude, what is so goddamn interesting on that fucking thing?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't. I mean, I always, I'm always policing myself and looking for ways to stay off this fucking thing, which, I talked to my girlfriend about that, and I'm like, it just makes me want to get a flip phone because then it's just a constant battle. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I don't even want to spend the energy. It's like having junk food in your house and having to restrain yourself
from eating
when the thing you want to do is take the junk food out of your house. Right. So, but I understand that aspect of it, but I do sometimes just want to say to people like, what is so goddamn interesting on there, man?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Like anyone who walked out of Backrooms and said like, oh, it was boring or I wasn't. It's like, what? As opposed to what?
Right.
Like your fucking TikTok feed? Like,
yeah, exactly. No, literally.
That shit is boring.
Literally.
It ignites the pleasure centers of your brain, but it's boring as fuck.
That's what it is. It is interesting that we've progressed in this world to the extent that there's these things, like TikTok, like you said, that exists plainly in such a way, and it has been engineered in such a way where the whole purpose of it is to just get people addicted to it, Like it's been engineered to just have your brain be addicted to it, and then the second that you start watching a movie, you're like, oh man, this is asking too much of my brain. My brain's not used to this, But
it's terrible, man.
But to step away from being old, guys, for a sec. June 26th, Supergirl. No. I haven't seen Superman, so I don't. I will see.
Superman was good.
I will watch Superman, especially because you've said that it's good, and I might watch Supergirl, but it might be like in a year or two. So we'll get there. Moana on July 10th.
No.
Live action.
Yes, by myself.
You'll go see live action Moana with The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh my God, you're right. It is a live action thing. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? How quickly that
The
turnaround is
turnaround.
nowadays.
Yeah, because that movie like came out like maybe 5 years ago or something.
Yeah,
I think. But
well,
yeah.
the first Moana.
Yeah.
It was no, it was longer than that. It was at least 7 or 8 years because I remember our professor
Oh, dude,
showing
it
us a
was 10
clip.
years ago. It was 2016.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. And then Moana 2 came
Yeah.
out like 3 years ago.
Crazy.
Yeah. July 17th. So far, every single movie you've said no to. Although the Toy Story 5, we said maybe we'll watch it on streaming or something. July 17, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to watch that movie. And it's interesting because there's so much like hating happening online with that movie, and I actually don't understand why. Like, I've seen people just like, have threads about it, or I've seen people have YouTube videos about it. I think The Drinker has a YouTube video about this movie. I haven't seen it. But
Yeah.
it's like, why? Like, single thing that I've seen that is like been hate towards this movie has been plainly and only because Nolan has decided to do something that goes against the source material in some way, and folks are acting like it's like some like catastrophe, and it's like, dude, you probably haven't fucking even read that thing. Like,
Yeah.
that's my reaction every time. Like when I saw that Drinker video, I was like, dude, you probably haven't even fucking read that fucking thing, man. Like who has fucking read Homer's The Odyssey, dog? Like, what are you on about? And so it's like that's the only things that I've seen are that, and then things that have to do with like casting like actors that are black, and it's like, okay, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Like those
right, like the Helen of Troy casting.
Yeah, like those are the two things that I've seen, and it's like, who gives a fuck, man? People make these things like they're like weirdly like their personality or like a hill to die on. Like, oh, I need like some sort of like, what do you call that? Like it's like, I need this shit to be played by fucking Greeks. I need fucking Stepopoulos, and I need fucking Stavros, and I need fucking Shapalopopoulos. I just need all these fucking Greek dudes.
Papadopoulos.
Stapadopoulos to show up, I need all the Dinos. I need all of these guys. Every guy named Dino show up. I need all the Greek guys to come over here. And
I need Gerard Butler.
Yeah, they all have to make the fucking Odyssey. It's like, dude, who cares? None of these actors are Greek. What's his face? Spider-Man is not Greek. Neither is Anne Hathaway. Like, none of these people are Greek. Well,
none of the people in the old Ray Harryhausen Greek mythology, Sword and Sorcery or Sword and Sandal, whatever you call that movies. Those were just white dudes. Those were just like
exactly.
German dudes.
So it's like there's like a weird like purity thing people are doing online with this movie, and it's like, dude, is the movie good or not? That's really all it matters. It's just some fucking work of fiction. Like, this is not like, we're not retelling something here, and even if we were, who cares? Who cares? But yeah, I've seen a bunch of like losers, like bandwagoned by like Elon Musk, like just complaining about the purity of this like adaptations. Like, dude, who cares? The biggest red flag for me is mythology. Just who cares, man? It's just that the thing that matters here is that somebody's adapting this thing, and we'll see. It might be like great, or it might at least be like worth watching and talking about, because one of the greatest filmmakers of our generation, or of our lifetime rather, is like making it. Isn't that worth something?
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
And Greco-Roman civilization interacted with Africa quite a bit. I mean, they had lions in the Roman Colosseums.
Right.
So I'm not an expert by any means, but there was plenty of interaction between Rome and Egypt, but also sub-Saharan Africa. You had the Nubian Empire conquer Egypt for a while. So in other words, there were black people in in ancient Greece, most likely. And this is mythology as well. Right. It's not like it's not like you're casting a movie about ancient China and casting Matt Damon as the emperor,
which I think they've done
Although
stuff like that.
They did do that. They did do that.
Like that. it's
Yeah, they
something like
cast
that.
Matt Damon in like a Great Wall
Yeah,
movie,
Great
like the Great
Wall
Wall or
movie. Yeah,
something.
it's so weird, but like, regardless,
Like, oh, we got this guy from Ireland to defend the Great
yeah,
Wall.
yeah. But again, the point for me stands that it's like it's just this weird. There has been this weird thing with like film criticism in regards to like adaptations like this, which has been just like weird, like people's like biases. Like this guy's just actual valid film criticism, and it's like it's not. This is just
Yeah.
you being weird. You're a dude at his house being weird, and you're
Yeah.
trying to masquerade this as like valid film criticism of a movie that's not even out. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, also, I will say, I have this weird feeling that once the Odyssey comes out, we're going to see a bunch of the general consensus is going to be like Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. What went wrong, or like
Yeah,
why
maybe.
didn't it work?
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to get another almost similar to Tenet.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel, but maybe it's just because of all this weird online controversy about it that's giving me that vibe. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be awesome.
Let's see.
It looks good.
Yeah, his batting average has not been. He's doing like one. He's been doing 1 and 1. He's like been striking out and then striking out in terms of I guess like general quality, right? Because he made Tenet, but then he made Oppenheimer. Which for my money is one of the best movies of this decade.
Oh shit, you're right. He did. Dude. I forgot about Oppenheimer for a second. I forgot that was Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
You're right. So he has the sauce.
Still.
I was thinking Tenet was his last movie. I forgot he did Oppenheimer.
Yeah, he did Oppenheimer. Yeah, and even with Tenet, like there was a lot of great stuff about Tenet. It just didn't. All of it just didn't come together.
I agree.
So I think there's a lot to I'm gonna put my hands out and just be like I hope it turns out great. I really do, because wouldn't that be great, dude? To have like a really great adaptation of that work, regardless of whether there's fucking people there that people feel like shouldn't be there. It would be great to have a great adaptation of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm with it.
I grew up on that shit, man. Clash of the Titans, all that Greek stuff.
Yeah.
I loved Ray Harryhausen when I was a kid. That was one of my heroes.
Yeah.
All the stop motion animator.
Yeah.
Love those movies.
But we'll know, dude, that when the movie comes out, we'll know that even if the issue with the movie is like the pacing or the dialogue or the exposition or the whatever it may be, we'll know that really the true thing that took this movie down is the fact that they cast Tom Holland and not Stavros Halkias. That's what that's what we'll know. We're like, Tom Holland's not Greek, and that's really what the fucking problem was all along.
Dude, Stavros actually should be in this movie. That'd be
hilarious.
Awesome.
The last movie to come out in July will be literally on July 31st. Will be Spider-Man Brand New Day. Are you watching that?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Depends on if anyone around me wants to go see that. I'm not going to be pressing the issue though.
Yeah, we'll see.
So it's maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe for you.
What is that guy's name? Because I was trying to say his name. It was like Dino Stapalopoulos.
I thought you were just making names up.
No, I wasn't making names up. That's the guy's actual name. He's the guy that made that show Moral Oral. Dino Estamatopoulos. That's that guy's name. That's a Greek motherfucker right there. Dino.
Oh,
yeah. Go with Dino, dude. But yeah, that's the name I was trying to say.
Moral Oral is fucking unhinged.
It is unhinged.
Show's awesome.
Moral Oral is what introduced me to the Mountain Goats, the band, which I recommend. I've talked about the Mountain Goats in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have that album, Beat the Champ, about professional wrestling, and have the Chavo Guerrero songs and all those songs. Great fucking album.
That's right.
Great album. Right. To me, that's like their second best Mountain Goats album. But all that being said, shouts out to the Mountain Goats. The lead singer lives in in Durham, I think. With that being said, let's talk about Backrooms. We went to see Backrooms over the past weekend. Every single day, there has been a new Backrooms video, by whoever name them, Stuckman or that guy or that other guy or the guy that makes video essays or that other guy over there. Everybody's making their Backrooms video, and Film Tangents is no different. This is our Backrooms video. Kane
And
Parsons.
ours will be the
That's
best.
really the best, man. We'll talk about this movie for at least 15 minutes. Kane Parsons directed this movie, 20 years old. He co-wrote this movie with another gentleman. I'll Google him. This is his directorial debut. As everybody knows, who's been around and who knows what this movie is, it started in a forum, shall not be named, and then it just skyrocketed from there with just, people just doing speculations and feeding into the whole idea. It was just a picture that somebody shared in the first place. And Kane Parsons is, I think, the person that most famously on YouTube was making his own films about it. So he was making Backrooms short films on YouTube. And somehow this made him the perfect guy for A24 to say, "Hey man, we'll give you 10 million bucks, and will you direct Backrooms?" And ignore the rumors that it was Osgood Perkins. It was Kane Parsons, and Kane Parsons says it was him, so I guess we'll believe him. Jake, what did you think about Backrooms?
Well, I gotta say, I was actually surprised to learn that it was only in 2022 that the Backrooms short film had come out.
Yeah.
But I guess the photo is as old as the photo hit the internet in 2012 or something, I think I saw. And then in 2003 was when the photo was actually taken, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's that's quite a chain of events.
Well, it was
over.
The photo first came to prominence in 2019 on a thread image board website called Blank, and then Kane Parsons made the movies in the 2020s. But the image, like you said, was taken in 2002 in Wisconsin. Yeah, shouts out to Red Letter Media.
Wow, interesting. It's crazy because it's like I have this weird feeling that I've seen it before. Maybe I've been to the Backrooms and I don't remember.
Yeah, dude,
I
think
know,
you have.
But yeah. But yeah. I mean, really interesting. It's cool that creepypastas are still alive and well too.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like there was kind of a heyday in the 2010s, and that sort of died down. But it seems like Backrooms kind of brought it back to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
To life,
for sure.
And the whole analog horror movement, which I don't know if Backrooms began the analog horror movement. Too. Yeah, or if analog horror movement kickstarted Backrooms. I feel like maybe it was the latter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Seems like analog horror was maybe a thing a little earlier than 2022. It's so weird how fast time goes now, because it's like, well, not how fast time goes, but just how much time there is to look back on in your life as you get older, where you're like, shit, dude, okay, 2020 was like how many years ago now? And it feels like it wasn't that long ago, but it kind of is. It's like over half a decade. Anyway, yeah, Backrooms, I enjoyed it. It didn't blow me away or anything. I feel like you and I kind of share that consensus.
Yeah, for sure.
But kind of getting into my positives for the Backrooms, like everybody else, I think the best part of the film is the atmosphere. The Backrooms are naturally atmospheric. I think I'm really impressed by the fact that they built these actual huge backroom sets. I think they built 35,000 square feet of backroom sets or something like that. And people would actually get lost in them briefly, and it was like being in the actual backrooms. So I was very impressed by just the look of the backrooms, how they really captured the look and feel of them. Just that atmosphere, that feeling of, they captured it well. This whole, I love the idea of secret passageways and secret doors and secret tunnels and things like that. And they really captured that well in this, with this sort of buildup of information, how he sees the light in the wall, right? And then he goes into it and he sort of further explores the Backrooms. Anything done in the Backrooms in this movie was mostly just gold. It was, they just nailed it. It was everything. I think if you are somebody who's a huge fan of the Backrooms, which I've never even seen the original film, short film, but have you seen the original short films, Edward?
I've seen parts of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen parts. Like, I was always aware of what it was for as long as it's been out, probably. But yeah, I would be hard pressed to imagine any super fan of the Backrooms internet series being disappointed by how the actual setting location was executed in the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was just done beautifully.
It's funny because the thing that is most resonant to me about the Backrooms is, you know, all the memes of just running around, and then like The Rock or Kanye or whoever just like follows somebody around, you know, and like their music plays as they follow you. You know, that's like my most like, that's like the thing that always comes to my mind.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw it, or may have been because I had seen the photo before, but I think the first time I saw an actual video of the Backrooms was a Better Call Saul fandom thing. They had Saul Goodman following.
I've seen that one too.
And it was like his music blasting. The
I've seen that one too.
Saul theme.
Yeah.
Funny. But yeah, I love the uniqueness of the Backrooms. I you know, horror where we've done a lot of we're generally relegated to the gothic, right? Haunted houses, cobwebs, basements, you know, rusted old creepy ass buildings, whatever, you know, any things that are gothic. So the Backrooms, it doesn't look like any other horror movie, which I really like. It's a fresh concept. You have these well lit areas with yellow walls and lots of kind of pleasing to the eye, honestly. Just very geometric shapes and tunnels that go through the wall and secret doors and things like that, and weird physics and all that. Very unique. It really stands on its own. And yeah, just as a liminal space, it really works too. The whole idea too of just going into a place that is really never ending and almost being and really risking being lost in it is pretty terrifying. And I don't know if they honestly, this can kind of lead me into some of my more mixed elements. I don't know if they executed that part well, because it seemed almost too easy for a lot of characters to find their way back out of the Backrooms. Or it didn't seem like they were lost ever. It kind of seemed like they always knew where they were, except for the therapist lady at the end, but she's quickly rescued.
Yes, she is.
The only time it really felt that way was at the very beginning with the random hazmat suit guy walking through the Backrooms, and it was like, oh shit, just how quiet it was, you know, and it really felt like he was lost in there and was never finding his way out. And it did feel that way when they had been the main character had been being chased by that monster for a little while. It was like, oh shit, dude, you're lost now. You know, you don't know how to get back. So that was good. But I felt like there were other parts where it really didn't feel like we were in any danger of getting lost. Because to me, that's the biggest danger of the Backrooms, is just not being able to figure out where the hell you've been, you know, where you haven't. Everyone kind of looks the same.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because then you have scenes where, you know, when he first goes into the Backrooms, you know, he has to run away from that thing, but conveniently he pops out of a crevice and he's like back where at that stop sign or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I'll just leave," and you're like, "Well, it's a bit convenient,"
right.
You know. So that was a mixed element, but going back to my positives for a second, I loved the character development of the main character. He was a great character. I was with him the whole time. You know, I could empathize with him. I had a lot of sympathy for him. I talk about those three ingredients all the time: sympathy and empathy and envy, right? And the envy comes in for him. And when I say envy, I mean, for those listening, qualities in a character that are enviable, traits that you aspire to. For this character, it was bravery. How he just went spelunking in the back rooms by himself. I was like, damn, you guys got balls.
Yeah, he does.
You know, this is pretty cool. You know, and I love the character implications for it because it was like he was just this guy down on his luck, and you know, you're down on your luck. Your wife left you. You know, she might have a new boyfriend. I think that's what that scene implied when he drives by her house. You know, or a new husband. I don't know. They left it open, but that was my interpretation. It was like maybe. Your business is failing. You just don't know where you're going in life. You have an alcohol problem. And then you find this secret room in the bottom of your furniture store. And not only that, but it ends up being a series of hallways that go on forever and ever. And you don't really know what it means, but maybe it means something, you know? Maybe it means something. Maybe something could come out of this. Don't know what it is. Maybe I'll be famous for finding it. Maybe I'll find something valuable in here. I don't know. But did you get that sense from it? I found that interesting.
What sense again? Like, rephrase that for me, please.
Like the sense that his character, when the main character found the Backrooms, it was sort of this weirdly
like I'm onto something kind of thing.
Yeah, it was this weirdly ambiguous road sign in his life where it was like, I don't know what this means, but it's something to shake up my shitty life, and maybe something good could come out of this.
Yeah,
but I don't know what it is.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I liked that. I thought that was a perfect kind of, if you were to set up the character of someone who finds the Backrooms, I thought that was the perfect way to set up a character who ends up finding the Backrooms.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But give me your thoughts, and then I'll go into my negatives.
Okay, let me see. I wrote something before, like on the way to the movie theater. As I was driving, like as I was getting ready to go to the movie theater, I wrote something down. I wrote pre-watch. I wrote the movie has been very successful. Is this the pendulum swinging towards internet culture IPs / original, or just a movie? Or just a move toward more like analog horror. That's what I wrote down. So I guess this is just like a thought I had like for the future, like because it's always interesting to me to think about like how executives and producers like what they take out of this, right? Because again, it's like it really begs the question, like, is this the beginning of, hey, let's trust like creators and let's just let them make movies and see what happens, or is this just like, oh man, analog horror and internet horror stuff's pretty popular, let's just squeeze that lemon until it's dry, you know? So I guess I'm interested in that. I guess I'll put a pin on this and see how that develops.
No, I agree with you though. It's like there's things in that in the film industry and in the publishing industry, the industry I'm trying to break into, where there's things, for instance, in publishing, there's things that are frustrating, but as we get into this digital age, it seems like the artist has more and more power. So there's parts of me that are like, I don't know what's going to develop, but I believe whatever does develop will be in the artist's, you know, best interest, most likely to my advantage. But yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like talking about this movie, like I'll go off with positives, like as you did. It's interesting because this movie started in this analog way, right, with this kind of like almost found footage thing of this guy that's running around there and he's already lost. And it's interesting how that introduces this thing already of like, okay, you're in these things and you're in these back rooms and there's just rooms and hallways, you know, and seemingly the longer you stay there, the worse things get, right? Or like the kind of like, it seems like there's like some kind of entity that appears, because in that beginning of the movie, something's chasing this guy. And we also see that he's like, has like some kind of like a cord attached to him, which I guess he was using just to find his way back to where he was. But even though he found his way back to where he was, he couldn't get out. And then something happened to him, and then the movie starts, right? And we have Clark, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. It's my best go at saying his name, because this movie, like the two main actors in this movie have like difficult to say names, because then the lady's name is Renate Reinsva. I think that's how you say her name. I think she's like Danish.
Okay.
So we have two difficult names to say, but his character is Clark, and her character is Mary. But like you said, we got introduced to all this stuff about him, and I agree with you that he is kind of like this perfect kind of subject to have this happen, right? And it's interesting how they introduce those two like on and off like switches that are just like put into the what do they call that? Like the power connection thing, this thing behind
the breaker box.
It's interesting how there's just these two breakers that are just like off to the side. They're like, oh, we don't know what these do, but somehow those end up being the catalyst to him getting into the back rooms. I guess there's a literal, two to that.
For some reason, that kind of reminded me of that diagram of Jerry Seinfeld's apartment, where it's like this shouldn't exist.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. I know exactly what you're talking about.
In fact, I feel like the whole movie reminded me of that. It just hit me where I'm like, this reminds me of something. I don't know what it is, but it's like, for some reason, that kind of stuff is very interesting to me.
No, but you're 100% right.
Just weird architecture.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, there's no
architecture.
Yeah, it's like there's no way this exists. Like if you look at where it's supposed to go, it goes nowhere. Yeah. Which I guess part of like the whole idea with this thing is that it's like a weird, like it's like a portal into another dimension or something. I guess. But it's interesting with the main character because we see that he's like trying to like map it, like he gives Mary a map, and he has like a map on like a whiteboard in the basement of the store. So he's like trying to figure this thing out. And apparently Kane Parsons said in an interview that part of his approach to the characters in this movie in terms of the backrooms is that he wanted to have this kind of like, he wanted to think about it from the perspective of like he said, like, I feel like human beings have a need within them to make maps. And I wanted to explore that through this movie, the need to make maps that people have.
I like that.
Which is fascinating because when he first went into the back rooms, like when Clark first went into the back rooms, in the movie, in my head, like I was looking at the screen, in the screen I projected like a map. And I was like mapping Clark,
Oh, nice.
Because when you play video games, as I play video games like Dark Souls and stuff like that, you always have a map. And sometimes when you play a game like a Metroid or a popular one for people, Hollow Knight, right? This kind of like Metroidvania like games, where the whole idea of the games are that you are progressing as you're progressing, you're filling up the map. So you going into an area then brings up the map, like that area in the map. So you're kind of coloring in the map as you're playing. And I thought of the backrooms in that way. So when he went in there, I was like mapping him and like, kind of like trying to track what he was doing, which is interesting that then in the movie, it's like, oh, he was doing that. So I found that interesting, kind of like a psychological read on the audience. Cause it's like, oh, I was doing that. And then that guy was doing that. And then the director intended for that to be like a thing, So props to that. Again, props on Clark's character. I thought he was an interesting character, compelling character, like you said. And then he gets obsessed, and then he brings his assistants, and then they get got. And then he disappears for an unknown amount of time, maybe like a week. And then Mary comes around and she goes into the back rooms, and then Bedlam, and the movie ends, right? But I thought the two actors were great. Like you said, I thought the presentation itself of the back rooms and like the general tone and atmosphere in there, I thought was great. That's kind of it,
Yeah,
like
I want to shout out one other positive that I had was I was afraid of two things. One, I was afraid that we wouldn't find anything out about the back rooms.
Yeah.
Two was the opposite, that they would try to explain it, and I think they hit a great middle ground.
Yeah, for sure.
I found it very interesting that the company that found it was an MRI machine company. that to me was very interesting because it's like you do brain scans, and they even had that brain scan title sequence or not title sequence, but just little sequence at the beginning um, that foreshadowed that. And then the Backrooms is almost like to me, it's like the Backrooms is almost like a collective subconscious.
For sure.
It's like everyone's memory.
Yeah, for sure.
Vague ass memory of everything, right? And so I found that very interesting. And I almost wish there was like a part of me that was like, oh, I want to know more. Like, how did you guys find it? But maybe it was better that, because the more you explain, the riskier it is. But they're
making a second one right
explain anything.
Yeah, they're making a second one, which is interesting because it goes to like this is what I thought this movie was. Like if we're moving past like positives.
Yeah.
Like my interpretation of this movie was that this movie was basically like the internet. The Backrooms are like the internet. That's what I thought. Because when I think about the collective subconscious, I think about the internet. And obviously, like the Backrooms are a liminal space, and a liminal space is just something that you go through to get somewhere else. And that's what I thought. I was like the Backrooms are just like a representation of what the internet is. They're just a place where everybody's collective subconscious is there. And even though you might have Facebook or whatever, it's not like a true representation of you. The same way that the movie that Clark was like, the Backrooms makes copies of people. But they're imperfect. It just misremembers them. It remembers specific things about them.
Wow.
So that's what I thought. That's the connection that I made. I was like, this kind of. I thought it was supposed to be like the internet, and then I thought
that's fascinating. That's really good.
I thought that the psychological element of the movie with like Clark or like with Mary, I thought that the whole idea with like Clark failed and Mary succeeded had to do with like arrested development, right? It's like if you are unable to get to these hallways, right? Meaning that you're unable to kind of get from point A to point B in your life, right? And you get into this state of just conformity and just being stuck in this liminal space, then you're done, But if you're able to like, make an actual like, because with Mary, her character was able to actually, literally and figuratively, when she smashed that dude with the thing that had the palm of her hand when she was a kid, she was able to kind of let go of her demons. Then she was able to exit the Backrooms, right? They spit her out and she was out, So I thought there was like a commentary there of just like letting go of the past or like being able to move on, and if you're able to move on and you don't get stuck, then you're not in a liminal space in life, so you're out,
Yeah.
But with Clark, he himself accepted this thing where he was like, I'm now moving on, like this is just me, and so the Backrooms kind of like destroyed him. So that was like my interpretation of this movie, that it was the internet and that it was about people's willingness or unwillingness to kind of move past traumatic events in their lives,
Yeah. I like that, man. I didn't think about it that way in terms of the internet. I really like that interpretation.
Yeah, I haven't
Backrooms.
I haven't seen anybody say that either. I haven't heard anybody say that. I know this is not an original thought. Somebody probably has said that shit. It's not a great original thought, but to my credit, I haven't copied anybody for it.
I really like it.
Yeah,
that's an awesome interpretation.
Thanks, man.
It really reminds you of using, when we were kids. Like I remember in 2003, at 5 years old, with supervision, but being on the internet.
Yeah.
And it's like the Wild West at that point. It's not like now, where everything looks nice and everything has a very carved out visible gateway to where like this is where I'm going, search engine, and A to B. It's like, no, it used to just be this weird mess of shit that you would just get lost in. It was like the Backrooms in that way.
For sure.
You didn't know what meant what, or where's this site go? It says it's this site, but it's actually porn. Whatever.
Yeah, like, no, 100%. Right. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. But I like that interpretation. And yeah, the Arrested Development stuff was really great because Clark's character was good because it was like you could even take the internet interpretation even further because it's like people who don't fucking move forward and move past trauma actually do just get trapped in the internet, literally. Like they go down internet rabbit holes.
100%.
That's what they do. They just start living in the internet, trauma dumping, making videos about it, watching videos about it, you know, and just being lost there. There's like people that you just get this sense that they just live in the fucking internet.
Yes.
And they speak in those, you know, they say IRL instead of in real life. You know, they literally say IRL, and you're just like, what the
hell are you doing? But it's interesting because, and you're 100% right, especially now with like Twitch streamers and all these people that are just like on there all the time. There was like a Twitch streamer, I don't know what his name is, but this was like a trendy topic over the past week, because the guy was basically like in his own stream, and this is like a popular, like successful guy, but he was basically saying like, when I have time off and I'm not streaming, he was like, I don't know what to do with myself. He's like, he was saying like, real life is not fulfilling, and if I'm not streaming, I don't know what I am and what I'm doing, you know. And that's fascinating because, again, it's like, it's the fucking Backrooms. It's like, because it's like, the internet is not real life, you know. Like if all you're doing is spending your whole day looking at a computer, you're not engaging with the fact that we are like these like squishy tactile beings, you know. You're just stuck in this liminal space where it's like, in your real life, you're making no progress, you have no friends, you know, or family or ambitions or anything. You're just a guy on the internet, you know. And once you're dead, people are going to misremember you because they never knew the whole entirety of you. They only knew whatever the hell they saw from you, you know. It's very fascinating stuff.
I like that. Yeah.
But
that's cool.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this film really is thematically rich. I mean, because just from this conversation, it's the fact that we're able to talk about it this way means there's a lot here that was great. But I'll let you keep taking it further.
I was gonna say, like, because then we have stuff in the movie that I never I appreciated the way they were there in practice, but then they didn't evolve into anything. Like the idea of like loneliness that the characters had, where they were kind of isolated. And we had this kind of mirroring scenes where both of them are watching TV, and you can kind of see their reflection on their TV, and it's like, oh, they're just alone watching TV. You know, there's kind of like human things we do that a lot of people just kind of do instead of doing something else, and it's just a very isolating thing. And then there was like stuff about like industrialization, right? With like building this big skyscraper offices like over the top of people's like homes and stuff like that, which I found interesting. And again, the movie the movie alludes to these things, and you can say that they are an ends into themselves, and I guess that's fine. But yeah, I guess that's it. I guess for me, that those were like the kind of thematic or like image-rich moments in the film. Very confident direction for a guy who's this is his first movie. You know, I can understand how people are being like, "Oh, it's Good Perkins" or whoever else directed this. But I don't want to take anything away from this guy. I thought he did a great job, you know, and he says he did it, so I guess we have to believe him. But I want to get into some negatives, you know, because despite the fact that this is like a very rich and thematic like thing, the whole like idea of the Backrooms, and I think that's why it's been so captivating to the public consciousness. I did think that this movie had a lot of shortcomings, you know. Because for one, at least like some sections of the film, I thought the dialogue was very poor. And the dialogue kind of reminded me of like film school dialogue, especially like that therapy scene at the very beginning of the movie gave me real like fall, like spring scene, like vibes, you know? Because everybody who made a spring film in our school made a fucking like talking to the psychologist movie, you know? And
because everyone was just limited to the fucking one set.
Exactly. And so because of that, stage. You know, watching this thing, the dialogue and he just really gave me like film school flashbacks, like in a really bad way, like in a really bad like, oh, this guy's 20 and the dialogue is just not clicking kind of way. Eventually kind of washed away as there was less dialogue and just more characters were introduced. But again, that stuck with me from the very beginning of the movie, and it was difficult for me to shake that off. So one, I had that issue with the movie. Film school dialogue. And another issue that I had with the movie was I feel like the movie had a POV issue where we had Clark, and Clark is like a failed MC because he ended up failing and he became the antagonist. You And then Mary ended up succeeding, but I have an issue with the fact that they've kind of pivoted from Clark to Mary. And the issue in it for me was this kind of like repetitiousness that the movie then ended up having, right? Where it just felt like it just felt like the movie was in a constant kind of stepping back thing, where it was like, oh, Clark went into the back rooms and we saw him do that, and then he brought his like little film crew into the back rooms, and then we kind of never further explored that too much, and then we switched to Mary, and now Mary has to go into the back rooms. So that so there was like an element of the movie that was like too repetitious, where we just kept getting fresh perspectives on the back rooms, like again, and then again, and then again.
Yeah.
And it felt like, well, we did that. Like Clark already did it. And then we had to see his assistants be like, oh my God, I can go through the door, Yeah. And then we had to go through Mary going into the building and going down the stairs and being like, oh, there's like a door-shaped thing and going through the thing. Like there was just an element of repetition to this movie that I feel like on a rewatch is going to be difficult to get over. Because even while I was in the movie theater sitting there, I thought to myself, they could have had Mary enter and start going down the stairs. Like we saw her going down into the basement and then cut to her like entering the back rooms or something. Like the fact that they had this like weirdly like 2-minute long shot of her going down the stairs, looking around the basement, I was like, what the hell? Like it was just too much. Like it was just too much of the same thing again and again and again.
I thought the same thing in adding to that, when I thought of that, I was like, I thought there were going to be more scenes. My cat's getting all over.
I know.
I forgot to announce the cat's back.
He
returned after a month. So we got an AirTag collar for him, but he came to a neighbor's doorstep about 5 houses down, which close enough. Of course, his mother and I will have to ground him now, but we're happy he's home all the same.
No PS5 on Thursday nights, too.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said no PlayStation 5 on Thursday nights for the cat.
No.
Learn his lesson.
Yeah. Oh, it's so nice having him back, though. It's like when you, like, and I'm only just now a cat owner for the first time in my life, but it's like when they're not around anymore, you're like, oh my God, I miss like waking up to those meows bothering you for breakfast, and you really don't know what you have until it's gone. There's the other one.
Yeah, I hear him. He's coming in.
That's my other cat that you guys hear.
The really huge one.
Yeah. Yeti. Shh. Yeah, so I thought the same thing, and I thought to myself, man, I thought we were going to have more of this sense of leaving, going back, like in terms I thought there was going to be more exploration. I thought there was going to be this grand, I thought they were going to make it like this grand project, and that's what the trailers felt like, where you see them with the rope and everything and the camera going in.
Yeah, for sure.
It felt like the main characters were going to do what the MRI machine company was doing, which is like continually exploring this place.
Yeah.
And then it would become this sense of like, oh my God, are we really going to go back in? And it's like, yeah, we're going to go back in.
But it's interesting though, because it's implied that Clark was like doing that, like he was doing that, but it's like, why wouldn't we watching that? Like,
right.
It felt to me really unfulfilling that we weren't watching that, and that then we get the film crew kids in there. And it's like, well, but this guy has like been in here. Seemingly he's been doing this like for a while. And it's like, that seems to me like that should have been the meat of this. Like we should have been watching him we should have cut from him going back in and grabbing that chair and bringing it out to like, kind of staying with him and kind of seeing him like psych himself up again, the next day or whatever. Like seeing him going through the motions of like selling a chair or whatever he does in his store, and just the whole time thinking, well, the backrooms, and just that consuming his mind, and then him just going back in there, and then us as an audience being like, oh my God, we're going back in round 2. Like, how far is this guy gonna go? But we just didn't. But we just didn't do that, and that felt so underwhelming to me,
Yeah. Exactly. I wanted that same thing. I imagined, I guess a comp for that would be something like The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser Mummy, where they go in and out of those tombs
Good
like
movie.
2-3 times before, and then back again at the end at the climax, right, for like one last romp with the mummy. But they go in there like 2-3 times before the mummy wakes up, right? Like it's this continuous process of like we go in, we explore a little bit, we come back out, regroup, go back in. Oh, there's more progress. We discover more, right? And you just feel things heating up, right? And this continuous mapping of the area and learning of new information. But instead, what we get is this, like you said, just weird. It seems like we skip over all that, and then shit hits the fan at the midpoint, and then we're done with this character, and then the therapist goes in, and we have to just like watch another character discuss.
Exactly.
Instead of watching these same characters, instead of watching the character that we at this point have grown to like, or at least empathize with, continuously make progress, we now have to start over again. We have and with this new character and watch them discover the Backrooms. And at that point I was like okay, I guess this is where we're going. And then they just do the Shining thing. And I said this after we went, like you and I went to grab a drink after we watched the movie, and I said this at the bar. I was like, it's like there's 3 horror movies that not every horror movie, but 90% of horror movies just steal from nowadays: The Shining, The Exorcist, and Rosemary's Baby. And it's like, look, can we be original? And if not, can we at least find other horror movies to steal from?
Right.
Because this is just getting old. The Shining thing, person going nuts, like just enough with that. Enough with it.
I haven't seen Obsession, but it strikes me as like some kind of Evil Dead thing, but we'll see.
Right. Okay. I don't even think I've seen the full trailer for Obsession, honestly, and I don't want to. But yeah, it's like we steal from The Shining where the person goes crazy, and we do that in, say, this movie or Babadook or whatever, or we do a possession thing like The Exorcist, or we do it was a cult the whole time, like
Hereditary.
Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, exactly. Rosemary's Baby.
Right, which Hereditary did, and many, many, many others do. Cults need to be abolished.
Yes, it needs to be over, and we need to get rid of that. And it's funny because I feel like that peaked with like, because Rosemary's Baby to me is like a 9-10 out of 10 movie. It's such a great. It's like Polanski executed it perfectly, and then every other execution of it is like either all right or just like not very good.
Yeah. Hereditary, I would disagree with. We have disagreements on Hereditary. I would say I agree with you, except when it's regarding Hereditary.
Yeah,
I felt like Hereditary really. I think they're as good as each other, Rosemary's Baby and Hereditary. I know you would disagree with that.
I would disagree. Yeah, I do. But I have given
that's another tangent.
That's another tangent. Yeah, let's not get into that. But
yeah. Well, no, go ahead. What were you going to say though?
I actually forgot. Okay. I was going to say something about the 2 movies, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was going to say whatever you think I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say.
It sounded like you were going to say I have Hereditary at like a 6 out of 10 or something like that.
No, because I had given up the ghost on it, and I have it like at an 8, I think right now, 8 or a 7. Because I acknowledge it's a good to a great movie, but that's we'll fry that fish some other time.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, so. And I did like what this movie steals from, say, like Eraserhead. That was cool with the deformed people. That felt very interesting. I liked the way they did it. It felt unique. They didn't use any gore. And then, of course, though, to get back into the negatives, the other big negative for me was the monster. The moment I saw that captain hat, I was like, "Oh boy, here we fucking go."
Yeah, because that's what I agree with you, because that's what I just have generic third act, like that to me was just like really like really really the big dude from, because I said this to Jake when we left the theater. I was like, it's the big dude from the what's that movie?
It Follows?
Not It Follows. the Conjuring too. It's the big dude from the
Oh,
Conjuring 2.
right,
You
the
know,
Crooked Man.
it's a Crooked Man. It's a Crooked Man ending again. You know, whatever, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look up the Conjuring
yeah,
2.
yeah. The Conjuring 2 with the Crooked Man. I always thought we won't. I won't get on that tangent. You're totally right though. The captain monster though was so dumb. That scene was actually good. It was a fine chase scene. I liked that they needed a scene like that because that's the whole idea of a lot of those Backrooms movies is you're being chased by something through there, and you're continually, as you're running away from this thing, you might be putting distance between yourself and this monster. But as you do, you're getting more and more lost, which is the scary part. So, but the monster itself, and it's something I said to you where I just said, it's almost like horror filmmakers these days don't believe that audiences can actually be scared by a monster or can actually take a monster seriously. And I want to tell horror filmmakers out there that that's not right. We still like monsters. Monsters can still be done well and effectively.
Right.
Just don't use CGI unless it's a kaiju movie, or if it's, a mashup, a mashup, of some kind, like A Quiet Place, where it's a sci-fi horror movie and you need them. But and make sure you don't show them too much, but there's rules to it, or there's guidelines.
Right.
But yeah, I was just like, this thing is just so stupid. This cereal box looking thing. And then when she stabbed it with that concrete hand, I just said to myself, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
The thing didn't look sturdy enough.
No.
Whatever. That's a nitpick.
Yeah. No, I agree with you though.
It was weird.
It was just like because that thing was very unthreatening. Like it bit Clark, and then it was like dragging him around and whatever. But it was just very unthreatening. The coolest part about it was when she walked into that when she crawled into that space and it was like a bunch of rooms. It was like this endless room, like endless doors. It was like that fucking I think you said in the movie
chimney of room.
Yeah, I think you said in the movie that it was like Monsters Inc. Like it was like the Monsters Inc. door. A lot of Monsters Inc. stuff in this movie. You also said that about the guys with the wearing the stuff, whatever they call that.
Yeah, this is like the hazmat suits.
Yeah, the hazmat suits.
There is a lot of Monsters Inc. shit. Because then also just the idea of phasing through a doorway, that was Monsters Inc. They had the doors, and they would just go into the different parts of the human world through the doors. Yeah, this movie actually
was very Monsters Inc. Yeah, so you were right on the money with that. When you said that, I was like, oh shit, he's fucking right. But
it was like, the layout that I was talking about, it's like those hotels. I don't know what you call that floor plan, but there's those hotels where you walk in and the lobby goes all the way up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 sides, and on all sides are just
doors.
balconies with rooms. Yeah. I don't know what you call that, but anyway.
But and then a nitpick that I have. I said this to you in the movie. I would have to rewatch this movie, but even when I rewatch it, they might edit it before they put it in streaming. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go to the theaters again to see this. But I remember I said this to you. It's like when she looked at the door, when she went to the mattress or the furniture store, and she looked down and she saw all the mail. Then when they cut to her opening the door from the inside of the store, the mail's gone. So I was like, oh, there's like a continuity issue there. I saw that. Even if somehow they edit that back into the movie in streaming, I saw it in the movie theater. It was not there. It was not there.
It'd be funny if they put you in a straitjacket. You're like,
it was not there. I saw it. It was not there. But
just cut to a glass window, and we're just looking in soundlessly with you inside,
shouting,
screaming in a straitjacket.
This is a movie that does it to me, dude. But this is an actual. I don't even know if this is a nitpick or not. You tell me, man. Like you tell me whether I'm nitpicking here or not. Okay. She went to that tiny door, and she came out. And it was that all those rooms. It was that space with all those rooms, right? But if you remember, when she came out, she almost fell down because it was like a very small like walking or like crawling space that she had, right?
Okay.
Like she had to crawl up to those stairs and then crawl up the stairs and then go up that door that ended up putting her back in the furniture store, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So in what world does this like 9, 10 foot tall monster thing achieve that to get to where she was?
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about
Like,
that
dude,
during the movie.
because when she went through that door, I was like, well, there's no way that thing could follow her. Because for her to get to where for her to achieve what she did, she had to be like a small human person, you know.
Uh,
Like she had to. But this thing is like a humongous creature, and it only has 1 foot. Like, so in my head I was like, and I was actually waiting, and they didn't do this obviously because the monster ended up actually chasing her into where she was, but I ended up waiting for a shot where the thing, because it was like punching the door. It was like trying to force its way through the door. So I was like actually
yeah.
waiting for the moment in which he like slammed the door open, like kicked it open, and then it fell down immediately. You know, I was
Right,
waiting
right,
for
right.
that. I was like, oh, she's gonna look back, and the thing's gonna come out, and because there's literally no walking space here, he's immediately gonna fall down, and we're gonna have a show where you just see him falling down. I thought that the
Right.
movie was gonna do that. Instead, she goes inside the thing, and then next thing you know, the thing's like following her, and I was like, dude, no way. It's like
Mm,
no way the fucking thing followed her. It's impossible. It's like he
yeah.
would have had to like shimmy, like just shimmy across, and then like like very carefully, like I said, there's no way, man. But whatever. I guess it's just me, But there was no
Yeah.
way that thing made it up there.
I didn't catch it in the moment, but I think that's more of a testament to that scene. That sequence did work for me in the sense that I was on edge. My heart rate did increase. Like I wanted her to get away.
Yeah.
So because like I said, the sequence was good. It was just the monster sucked. And you're right. That thing was so unthreatening when she starts throwing furniture at it and stuff. I go just beat its ass. I mean, this thing is weak.
Yeah, it's
It's not
weak.
doing anything.
Yeah.
It falls on her, and she just stabs it with a child's hand imprint
Yeah.
in concrete.
Which that's like another one of like my pet peeves with movies, and it's like when they establish a threat, but then the second the threat like can kill the main character, it becomes like a baby.
Oh yeah,
It's like
you're telling me, dude. I watched The Boys for 5 seasons.
it's like suddenly this thing can't do anything, but before it
Yeah,
like killed the guy, and it's like okay, now it's just like
that's all.
slobbering on top of her. It's like oh okay, I guess that's fine too.
Yeah, that's what it was like watching season 4 and 5 of The Boys.
Yeah,
Any scene with where Homelander interacted with the main characters.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah, no. Yeah. So, anything else you got on the back room, sir?
No, that's it. Because I had my pet peeves. I was that guy was the way that guy made it up there. The mail wasn't there. You that's it. I am looking forward to the second one because this movie almost felt like a proof of concept. Almost like it
Right.
almost felt like, hey, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do it right, and it's gonna make money, and we'll make a second one. The second one will actually be what it should be. Like it kind of felt like that a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to number two for that one. I believe in Kane Parsons. He's apparently looking for another co-writer because the one who co-wrote it with him, I guess maybe that guy's not available. I don't know what the idea is. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for the second one. I thought this one was okay. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of shortcomings, but I think the what was great about that movie, I think overcomes all that. And honestly, I can't wait to watch this movie again. Like I can't wait.
Yeah.
I want to watch
Interesting.
all the backroom sequences again. Like I just want to watch them. They were really fascinating. Um, that's it. Anything else for you? Any closing thoughts?
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to the sequel too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope they do some interesting stuff with the characters. It'd be interesting to get into a character that maybe works for the uh, MRI company
yeah, for sure.
because we know about the backrooms now. So if we started with a character who's already familiar with the backrooms too, That would probably be helpful.
It was the creepy. It was the creepy guy from that movie Creep that you like. He was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
that's right.
Like Jay Duplass or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Mark
the
Duplass.
guy I always get. Yeah. The guy I always get confused with the guy from Office Space, Peter from Office Space.
Yeah, he does look just like him, dude. He looks just like him. Let me look up that guy.
Yeah,
he looks just like him. Ron Livingston. He looks just like fucking Mark Duplass, dude. Mark Duplass. Yeah, if you Google them, it comes up. People have said this.
I think they have photos together too.
They're in a movie together. A movie called Tully. They're together. They look like they could fucking be brothers, dude. Jesus Christ.
Do they play brothers in the movie?
I have no idea. They're in a movie called Tully. They look just like each other. Wow.
Damn. Dude.
Wow. That's crazy. I gotta look up this Tully movie and see what their characters. One of them is Drew Morrow. The other one's Craig. I don't know if they play brothers.
Two brothers.
Fascinating. What would you rate Backrooms? I think you already rated it.
Yeah, 6.
6 for me too. I think so.
Yeah.
I think a 6 is fair. You know, not great, not bad. Just it has a lot of promise.
Yeah. For sure.
But we've yapped about Backrooms long enough. So much so that we've run out of most of our time. So let's get into our recaps, Mr. Jake. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go.
All right, go ahead.
I watched 2 movies in the last week. I'm currently writing a slasher novella.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do basically. I don't know if I even told you about it, but basically what I'm trying to do in the slasher novella is I'm trying to do something like American Psycho, but instead of a critique of 80s yuppie culture or whatever, I'm trying to critique 2020s black pill doomer looks maxer internet rabbit hole manosphere culture,
everything.
Yeah, through the lens of a serial killer. So I'm almost trying to do like a modern sort of take on American Psycho, but then plot wise, the comp would, funny enough, be my comp for the plot is it's Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? But from the perspective of the villain, and specifically one of those episodes where the gang has a piece of evidence that the villain wants back. So the villain is actually on the back foot, so there's like episodes like the Creeper episode with Scooby-Doo where they have this undeveloped photo that shows the person who's been robbing the bank, so the Creeper keeps chasing them, trying to get that back. So it's like that basically, where it's sort of a Hitchcockian thing where this serial killer that we're from his point of view, he's trying to kind of cover his tracks, through a chaotic series of events. So slasher from the point of view of the slasher has been done before, but I'm trying to do attempting a more unique take, a modern take that similar to American Psycho critiques those things I was talking about. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if it works. But to that end, I've been watching some slasher films. So I wanted to watch a slasher film to get some ideas for chase sequences and traps and things like that. Because, the characters always kind of set up traps for the killer and things. So I wanted some ideas there just to get some of those creative juices flowing. So I watched Scream 3 because I've seen the first 2. I never saw 3. Mm-hmm. So I figured, hey, I'll just keep, going. I'll watch 4 and 1-2 years from now, maybe. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's 5 out of 10. It's dead average. It's fine. I don't really even have much to say about it. I got what I needed from it, as far as inspiration goes. One thing I did like that I'm incorporating into my novella is I love how clumsy Ghostface is. Mm-hmm. I love that shit, dude. I even when I was a kid, I noticed that. I was like, this guy's a fucking klutz. Yeah. They did it on purpose, but because it's always just some asshole who's dressed up as Ghostface running around, and the characters are just beating the shit out of him,
Yeah.
dude. Like he's, and he'll do some clever things too, and he obviously kills people, but um, they'll trap him in various ways. They'll, trip him. They'll throw things at him, but he's just flopping all over the place. And it's, I always thought that was a nice touch to Scream, the Scream movies.
Mhm.
It gives it gives Ghostface almost this clownish physicality. Um, that's honestly very unnerving. Like when you see him flopping around and being clumsy, it just makes him more chaotic. Honestly.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm trying to incorporate that into the novella. It's a very, like American Psycho, it's an experimental, piece. I don't know if it's even going to work, but I'm just, 20,000 words. I can finish it, and you know, I'm almost done with it.
Mhm.
It's one of those things I could just write in a couple weeks and do some revisions on and see where it goes. See if I
Yeah.
can get another, small press publishing deal on it. But
Yeah.
and then to that end as well, I watched. I wanted to watch another slasher film from the perspective of the slasher. So a couple weeks ago, I watched In a Violent Nature. So I watched The Devil's Rejects by Rob Zombie.
Mhm.
This is a very popular horror movie. It's actually a sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses, but it's generally considered one of, by most horror fans, Rob Zombie's best, and of Rob Zombie fans, it's definitely, I would say, it seems to be mostly considered his best. Um, and I was intrigued by it because I read reviews of the movie and people talking about it, and people say, "Oh, well, it's crazy because you have these killers, but who are just deplorable people, but you're sort of rooting for them at the end, so it plays with empathy in a weird way." And I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes.
If
Maybe I
you're
can
an
get some.
idiot.
Right, and I'm like, let's see where this goes if I can steal some tricks from this movie,
Yeah.
and I don't see it. This was the Devil's Rejects is dog shit. I don't see why this movie is so popular.
Yeah.
There's some good scenes in it that are well made from a filmmaking perspective. The ending in particular, anyone who's seen the movie knows the Leonard Skinner's Free Bird is used, and it is a really well shot ending. It is definitely iconic to an extent. But this is a dog shit movie, just despicable. Despicable, deplorable. I was rooting against them the entire time. They try to make you root for them because the sheriff that's pursuing them, basically they're three Texas Chainsaw Massacre types. They're cannibalistic. They're a family of cannibalistic serial murderers who,
Mhm.
put people in cages. But in this movie, they're on the run. They've been discovered. And the sheriff who hunts them is also this brutal, crazy motherfucker, violent dude. So they try to make you root for them by making him somehow super bad too, which he was, but I was rooting for him,
Mhm.
because you see them do this horrible shit the whole movie
Right.
to these people, and when they're doing the horrible shit, I'm rooting for their victims, as
Right.
I think as you would in any other
Any
horror
normal
movie, where you're
person,
like,
yeah.
right, you're like, "Oh my god, get out of there. No, grab the gun now. Get it." And the movie's really frustrating. It's kind of like Funny Games, only not even 50% well made, where
Mhm.
it's really frustrating because you're just like, the characters get close to getting away, but then they fuck up and you're like, "God fucking damn it." But then you never get that payoff.
Right.
It's like Funny Games in that way, where then there's no payoff to it. It's just this suffering, um, shit with no light at the end of the tunnel. But so by the end, when the sheriff catches them and he's doing his thing, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, get their asses, man. Um, but yeah, but then they do the fucking disappointment non-payoff thing, and I'm like, dude, who is rooting for these people at this point?
Right.
You know, and you know what's funny though? Because I thought to myself, why does this movie suck but American Psycho works.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about that to myself for a long time. And I know you haven't seen Devil's Rejects, but
No.
you can probably weigh in on American Psycho if you want. I think what makes American Psycho work where the Devil's Rejects does not is one key ingredient, and it's the Hitchcockian element in American Psycho, particularly the scenes with Willem Dafoe when Patrick Bateman is being interrogated and questioned, and he is trying to cover up, and the scenes where he's trying to cover up his tracks, and the scenes where he's trying to lie and keep himself out of trouble. Those scenes, like a lot of Hitchcock's work, even though the logical side of you is like, this person should go to jail, you're biting your nails for them. You're like, oh my God, like this is making me nervous.
Because there's like
Dafoe's character.
There's like, what if this was me element to that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Devil's Rejects doesn't have any of that because they've been caught. They're just on the run.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just no relatability there. So I think that's where American Psycho works. Many other ways that it's way better, a far superior film to Devil's Rejects. Devil's Rejects is just disgusting too, in every aspect.
Yeah.
It's the most grindhouse movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm not. Life. You know that I'm not. You know, like I remember you and I saw that movie like Them or something like that, and I was just like, this is just dog shit. Like, cause I'm not like. I think that was the name of the movie. Yeah, Them, 2006. Because I can't watch those kind of movies. Like the movies where it's just like, look, bad things happening, and it's like, okay, why? You know, it's like you can always why? You can just look at the news. Like, I don't need to see this shit. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about funny games that works for you? I know I'm opening a can of worms.
Yeah, you're opening a can of worms. It's interesting with funny games because I think there is like a different approach in that movie in terms of like not only like I think like in writing, but also how it's like conceived that just works for me. Because I feel like with that movie, that is the entire intent the entire time. It's like, this is what this is, you know. Mm-hmm. And the movie doesn't try to be coy. Like the movie doesn't try to like the movie itself doesn't try to like fool you into thinking that it's not that. And also at the same time, and this is just kind of me saying this shit off the top of my head. But also I think the fact that that movie is not gratuitous, you know, like this stuff is happening, but like it's not gratuitous. Like there's no like graphic shows of like violence or graphic shows of anything. It's just like, oh, these things are happening and they're bad things, but I'm not. The filmmaker makes a purposeful choice to not show them to the audience. You know, other things are implied or they happen off camera. But when you have things happening to people on camera, it's just gratuitous, and it just becomes like snuff, like what do you call those? Snuff films. You know, and it's like I'm not into that kind of shit. I'm not into like watching a movie and just seeing people like kill a person, you know, graphically for the fuck of it. It's like I don't see that as like filmmaking or art. You know, that's kind of just gratuitous horseshit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great point, man. I appreciate that. That helps me actually.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I mean, this is to do something like American Psycho is very tricky.
Yeah.
Like I got to the halfway point writing it last week, and I was just like, dude, this fucking sucks. Like I don't even want it, but I have to finish it. Like if I start something, I finish it. So,
yeah, boy.
So we'll see. If it doesn't get published, I'm not even gonna fucking sweat it, dude. It's a novella, you know. It's a novella. It takes, you know, it doesn't take that much. And I have other ideas, so we'll see. But I wanted to try it. For some reason, I had the itch to try it. It really was like just the idea of Scooby-Doo from the villain's perspective. That's like how the idea came to me, and then it just went from there. But anyway, and then I'm reading Heat 2 by Michael Mann and Meg Gardiner. This is the novel sequel to the movie Heat. It's currently being developed into a movie with by Michael Mann with Christian Bale and Leonardo DiCaprio and Austin Butler attached. So that should be interesting. I would assume Christian Bale's gonna play Pacino's character.
Something like that.
That'd be my assumption.
Yeah.
Be perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially after he played Patrick Bateman, you know, because it's a similar in terms of personality and physicality, it's a similar performance. Very wiry. And then I would assume it seems like Austin Butler would be Val Kilmer's character.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, kind of perfect casting in terms of at least like looks.
And then so what? Like DiCaprio would be De Niro's character. I'm not so sure.
It's funny because I think DiCaprio and maybe also Bale are like as old as those guys were.
Right?
Like, old as fuck.
Funny?
Yeah, yeah.
It's so funny, man. But yeah, Heat 2. I mean, Heat's one of my favorite movies. It's in my top 5 films of all time. It's on my, my 4 on Reddit or on not Reddit, Letterboxd. That top 4 profile on your profile page. It's on there.
Yeah.
So it's been on my list. Heat 2 has been on my list for a long time. I don't know why it's taken me so long.
Like, dude, listen to this. Listen to this.
Yeah.
When Heat came out, De Niro was 52.
Okay.
He was 52. DiCaprio is 51 right now.
DiCaprio's 51.
Yes.
Wow.
He's 51 years old. So it's like, dude, what gives? I thought they're playing younger versions of these guys, not exactly the same age. Whatever.
So Heat 2 it's both a sequel and a prequel. It's kind of like Better Call Saul in that way. Very similar to El Camino too.
Okay.
In Breaking, where Val Kilmer's character, because at the end of Heat, he gets away. And he has a very, very much a Jesse Pinkman and El Camino type thing going, where he's on the run, but then he's got some personal shit he's working out. He's still got that wife, who's back in the in L.A. and he wants to get back to her desperately, but the cops are swirling around, And then you get these flashbacks to. You get a flashback story too of De Niro and Val Kilmer's characters. It's only 7 years before the events of Heat, I believe.
Okay.
It takes place in 88, and then Heat was in 95.
Yeah.
So,
it is funny because all of the actors, including Austin Butler, are the age or just about that the actors were during the filming of Heat. So that's just interesting to me.
How old was Val Kilmer?
35, and Austin Butler is 34.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
Christian Bale was 52. Yeah. Pacino was 55. So they're just about, everybody's just about the exact same age.
Impeccable casting. Yeah. It's great so far. It's great.
Okay.
Like I said, I should probably put books in my recap once I finish them, so I can actually do a proper, take on them. But I don't know. I get excited when I start reading a book, so I love it so far. It feels like such a treat to be able to spend more time with these characters again. Because a lot of characters, that's not the case. It's like one and done, and you're never going to spend any time with these characters ever again.
Yeah.
So it feels like a second chance in that way, when you read Heat 2, and it's like, oh, I can't believe I get to be, and you picture them, obviously, if you've seen the movie, you picture them as De Niro and as Val Kilmer and as Al Pacino. So you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing, it's like another season of a show I love, and it took like years for it to come out, So yeah, that's been awesome. And then I did a reread on the classic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Awesome book.
Yeah.
If I'm telling you, I was, re-listening to this book. It's the quintessential book on, social self-development, right? And relating to people. And if you are someone listening who you feel like you don't relate to people, or you have social anxiety, if you read this book and internalize it, because it's not a book about like techniques or whatever, it's a book about mindsets, being genuinely interested in other people, genuinely caring about other people, not arguing with people, listening to them, how to get them to actually see your point of view without insulting them, things such as this, right? And if you internalize this book as someone who struggles with that kind of stuff, you're 70% there. Like you are 70% done, like to where you want to be. I'm telling you, like this is where you start. Don't read any other book about psychology or socializing until you read this one. If you are someone out there who struggles with that stuff, great book. And then I a very short read. It's an old think piece called "As a Man Thinketh" by James Allen, and it's a philosophy book, basically based on the old proverb "As you think, so shall you be," and it's just about how you create your environment with your thoughts. So be aware of what's on your mind and make sure your mind's not full of weeds, basically. So it's good. But yeah, that is it.
All right, man. Something I want to add to you. I don't know if you know about this. There is a Cape Fear show that's coming out right now.
Oh yeah. I did hear about that
on Apple TV with Javier Bardem as like the dude, and then with Patrick Wilson and Amy Adams as like the parents. Interesting. It has good ratings. It has as good ratings as the original movie did, which is funny because at some point when they made an ad for it, it had like an 80% Rotten Tomatoes, and part of the ad was like better than the original movie, and they showed the Rotten Tomato score. But now the original movie has 77%, and the show has gone down to a 74%. So it's actually not better. It's not better than the movie.
But because statistically speaking.
But just because you mentioned, like that you were like reading and stuff about slashers and stuff, I thought that would be interesting.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me about that. I did see the trailer, I think, a few months ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should check that out.
Yeah. Just something for you that I thought about when you were talking about that. I was like Googling that stuff, reading a little bit about it. I will be brief with my recap as always, just music, but I'm pushing through. Música. I listened to Shakira over the past week. I listened to her debut album, Pies Descalzos, from 1995. That is an okay album. Shakira in the 90s was a combination of like rock and pop music that she was doing, and in some songs they work and they're just absolute all-time like bangers that I've loved my whole life. Shakira was a really big thing when I was growing up, and then some of them are kind of duds. Her first album, Pies Descalzos, is like a mixed bag. I wouldn't really recommend it as a starting point, but if you want to listen to it, just listen to the very first song called Estoy Aquí, which I thought is pretty good. Kind of a highlight of that album. But then her follow-up album, her 1998 Donde Están los Ladrones album, which means Where Are the Thieves? I thought that one's kind of like a little bit more of like a richer album, like a just richer, like good album. More good songs than bad songs, I would say. And again, if you want a little taste of that album, listen to the first song or the fifth song, Inevitable. I thought those were the best songs. But really good album by Shakira. And I might go back and listen to other albums of hers, but I'm calling it that. I'm just stuck to the 90s Shakira stuff and I'm moving on.
And that doesn't include Hips Don't Lie. That was in 2000s.
That was in the 2000s. Yeah. The 90s ones are just like these old like rock and pop bangers. Again, that album, the 1998 album, Donde Están los Ladrones, that looks like that in the cover, I think that's her best album, as far as I'm concerned anyway. Then I listened to Sharon Jones and the Dap-Kings, Soul of a Woman. This is a 2017 R&B and soul album, and it's not neo-soul or anything. This is just throwing it back to like the 80s and 90s, not even the 90s, the 80s and 70s, like soul. So it's very much like in the classic wave of soul, and Sharon Jones, she was a lady, she was doing it then, so she's kind of an old-timer in that sense, and she made this album in the 2010s. This has been sitting in my albums for a really long time, as a lot of these albums have been, and this is why I've been doing this, and I finally got to listen to this, and I have to say, solid throwback soul album. This is how it looks, again, Soul of a Woman by Sharon Jones. Just a solid album. I think it's a good time. The very first song, Matter of Time is a highlight. Come and Be a Winner is a highlight. And then Searching for a New Day is a highlight. And also the very last song, Call on God, I thought was a really good, powerful song. So just very classic kind of like soul elements of just, searching for God or searching for meaning or just stuff about relationships and stuff like that. So, good stuff. Then I listened to another Sharon, in this case, Sharon Van Etten. She has an album by the name of Are We There? This album right here. And it's like a cover of somebody looking out the window. So it, from looking at the cover, you can tell that this is a little bit of like a melancholic album and a little bit of like longing part of the album. It says alternative in Apple Music, but I would describe this as kind of like singer-songwriter, like sad songs, singer-songwriter sad songs. That's how I would describe this. And I thought that it was too much of just, whoa, it's me, I'm a sad woman. It was too much. Just okay. with songs like Your Love Is Killing Me and I Love You But I'm Lost, with titles like that, you get the picture. It was just too much. There was not enough variety in there for me. This is a 2014 album. I don't know when the hell I added this to my albums, but I thought that it was like very like just okay, and I'm not in the mood for sad lady songs, so it just didn't work for me. But a highlight I thought was Our Love. I thought that was a highlight. Otherwise, it was just kind of trudging through sludge. And then finally, to end my albums for the past week, I listened to a 2016 hard rock album by Show Me the Body. The album is called Body War. This right here. You've heard these songs before because I've played these songs. Like when we were in college, I would play some of these songs because I liked like the singles this album had, but I never listened to the album. This is kind of reminiscent a little bit of like Rage Against the Machine, a little bit, and there's parts of it that almost remind me of like Death Grips. This is a UK band, so this is like a UK hard rock band, and a little bit. There's part of it that are kind of screamo. So if you're into that, I would recommend it because I thought this was solid. This was a good album. The song Body War is good. Tight SWAT, song number 2. I thought that was a good song. And also song number 6, Metallic Taste. Those are my highlights. Again, I thought it was a good album. If you're into kind of like post-punk or hard rock, if the words Death Grips or Rage Against the Machine mean anything to you, or the noise rock, if that means something to you, I would say go and listen to it. Another one that had been sitting on my albums for a really long time. So I'm glad to have covered like a little bit of ground. That's it.
Is that what made you look up what SWAT stands for?
No, I didn't look up what SWAT stands for. Like I watched a video and somebody somebody asked another guy like, what does this mean? And the other guy didn't know, and then the other guy told him. And I was like, oh, that's what it means, special weapons and
tactics.
And tactics team, yeah. Yes, SWAT team. Right. That's everybody. That's Film Tangents. Jake, what do you have for us next week?
I'll let you know. Man. All right. I kind of want to see Obsession this weekend, so I don't know. If you're down for that, we could go see that.
Yeah, maybe. But let's see.
Just let me know. Otherwise, I'll think of something else.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But maybe Obsession next week, guys. If not, then I'm thinking of throwing a odd curveball at us. Something really weird. Something like no one's ever heard of.
Okay.
So we'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
All right, everybody.
Don't know what you're going to get.
Next time on Film Tangents, go into the description. It'll be there. See ya.
Yeah. That's right. See ya.
All right.